The sun rises in the east, but it sets in the west. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Mixtape Marv, and today I'm gonna hit y'all with my thoughts on this new Mount Westmore album. So, Mount Westmore is a super group consisting of the following left coast rap legends: Snoop Dogg, E40, Too Short, and Ice Cube. Each artist represents some of the best that California hip hop has to offer. Now, this supergroup formed in late 2020 during the height of the pandemic. They had released Big Subwoofer as a single, which didn't blow me away, but I was curious to see how these legends would tackle a full-length project. I guess it had been released as an NFT in June, but now it's available on all streaming services for the first time. It contains 16 tracks and lasts approximately an hour and 5 minutes. We have production from the likes of Ant Banks, Decades, Dem Joints, Frederick, Jelly Roll, Kato, P-Lo, Pro Hozak, Rick Rock, Sean Ski, Superfly. With that being said, let me go ahead and just hit y'all with this track by track breakdown. The opener, California, sets it off with an up-tempo slapper from Rick Rock. It feels like an anthem, and I would consider it to be a strong way to kick things off. The production blends the Bay and LA sound well enough. E40 declares, "Looking the same way I look back in 90 Deuce, we live in proof, we stood the test of time." Track 2, Motto, continues in this up-tempo direction with another banger from Rick Rock. I dug the rubbery bass line and perhaps Nipsey vocal sample. I'd say it's a fun record that slightly favors more of the Bay Area aesthetic. The only drawback was that Ice Cube's bars sounded overly basic compared to everyone else. Track 3, Big Subwoofer, had been released over a year ago, and while I could appreciate the crunchy bass and wavy vibe, I don't love this record. The following, Too Big, produced by P-Lo, has a really modern hyphy beat that is catchy, but also a bit formulaic. The energy was there, and I dug the back and forth, but it's not one I'd return to. The next song, Activated, produced by Sean Ski, has more of the traditional G-Funk feel, from the bass line down to the Roger Troutman inspired hook. It's unmistakably Southern California. This one was about them standing on business, being ready, and being activated in the streets. And I felt like Snoop was really in his bag flow-wise, giving me glimpses of his 94 sound. Track 6, Have a Nice Day, produced by Frederick and Dem Joints, is my favorite song by far. I dug the slower psychedelic production and the stellar hook from Dem Joints. The chorus was really intoxicating, and it had that classic West Coast feel. They're all giving the middle finger to their haters, while also doing some introspection and speaking on issues pertaining to them. Too Short speaks on his player perspective, while Cube talks about politics and getting canceled. The following, Ghetto Gutter, has a bouncy beat from Ant Banks and Droop E. It's a conceptual song about their love for the hood. Each speaks on all of the ways that they've stayed down, stayed true, and stayed hood. Everyone did a good job, but I feel E40's verse stood out the most. But overall, it's a high energy anthem, plain and simple. Right after is Free Game, which has what feels like a signature E40 beat, as there is a slightly sinister mob music feel to the production. And as the title suggests, this one is all about the game that these veterans are dropping. E40 encourages the youngsters to soak up this game like a sponge, or should I say a beach towel. And while I don't have this as a favorite, it's one that I can see myself returning to. Afterwards is I Got Pulled, which returns to the bright and feel-good G-Funk sounds. It's a track that I feel 90s heads should appreciate, as Snoop slid on his verse, and 40 and Short Dog do their thing on the hook. Track 10 is Up and Down, which is basically a ass-shaking anthem about their love for thick girls. It's not one that I would revisit at all, but I would say this Snoop, 40 and Short Dog didn't sound as awkward as Cube did. The subsequent song, Do My Best, produced by Superfly, has a stellar hook from Uncle Chuck, and this one is an ode to the West Coast and how they will always do their best to rep the West. It's another cool track with that slowed down G-Funk aesthetic that I think 90s heads should dig. Track 12, Lace You Up, also has a beat from Superfly. This one is laid back as well, but a little dreamier and wavier. It's another record where they are lacing younger dudes with more of that G-A-M-E, kicking some hard truths to the hard-headed youngsters out there. E40 has a sharp rebuttal for the kids who just dismiss him as this old head. After I give you this game, you can rewind. I was your age. You ain't never been mine. Track 13 is Tribal, which has an energetic slapper from Jelly Roll. The production captures both elements of the Bay and LA. Here they speak on surviving the wicked streets, and Ice Cube gets to do a little social commentary. Track 14, How Many, has a bouncy G-Funk bassline courtesy of Ant Banks and Big Zeke. And on this one, they speak on the folks out there snitching to get their time reduced. You know, trust is a luxury you can't afford, so you just gotta assume most people will tell on you to get released early. I dug E40's lines. They were hilarious and true. Cause his body type is frail, he can't make it in a cell like the opposite of heads, he gon' tell. The second to last track is On Camera, which has a chilling and eerie beat from Rick Rock. That's one of my favorites. They speak on moving cautiously in this social media era, and to be mindful that every move you make gets caught on camera. You could label it as paranoia, or you could call it being on point. I guess it depends on how you frame it. Then the album wraps up with Mash. The production has more of the mob music influence. As a whole, it's not a bad closing track, but the production sounded a little cheap. So overall, I give this project a rating of a strong 3 to 3.5 mics. There are some gems embedded in the track list, no doubt, but others that made it a slog to get through. Nevertheless, it was good hearing all their unique voices on record, and they sounded pretty enthused, with the exception of Cube, who sounded as if he was going through the motions at times on this album. With respect to their lyrical performances overall, I did enjoy Too Short's portions. I thought Snoop sounded great, but I would give the MVP to E40 because he sounded agile as fuck over every beat, and he just had the wittiest bars. As far as the production was concerned, I feel it favored more of the contemporary Bay Area sound than LA, but there were some G-Funk records scattered throughout. Even though I enjoyed some instrumentals, others felt either cheaply made or just a bit formulaic. Still, as far as super group projects are concerned, which can typically be a mixed bag, I think they pulled it off fairly well, as there's a little bit of something for everyone. My favorite tracks include California, Motto, Activate, Have a Nice Day, Ghetto Gutter, I Got Pulled, Do My Best, and On Camera. Let me know what you thought about this album in the comment section. It's your boy Mixtape Moth. I'm signing out, but be sure to hit that like button and please subscribe. As always, it's peace and blessings. Mount Westmore 1.